Hey, why do you try to hide your talent like that? Her direct gaze firmly caught my eyes. You're really talented, aren't you? Why pretend to be just an average person? It's such a waste when you have such skills. She must have meant well by saying that. But her words triggered my deep trauma. Blood rushed to my head, and I stood up furiously. What do you mean a waste? Are you also trying to use me? I've had enough of that. I realized I was attracting attention from those around me, but it was too late. She averted her gaze from me and muttered, "Sorry," with just that one word. I am Gaspard. Currently, I'm working as an office clerk at a certain law firm. It's a moderately sized office that rents out the first floor of a building, with several lawyers and clerks working there. Clerks are assigned to assist lawyers, but I didn't have a lawyer I was exclusively assigned to. Being the lowest on the totem pole, and not so good at my job, I'm stuck doing menial tasks daily. Filing documents, restocking supplies, and other tasks not directly related to legal work have become my daily routine. I think the people at the office are fundamentally good people. Given their profession, there are many just and good-hearted people who are serious and passionate about their work. They are also sociable and often have meals and drinks together. I hardly ever join in, but I think that deepening friendships in this way is a good thing, and they should keep at it. I don't drink much and don't particularly like noisy places, so I just choose not to participate. However, I sometimes worry whether the people at the office recognize me. I am so inconspicuous that I'm aware of it myself. Taxes hardly ever stop for me, and in the worst cases, I'm not even detected by automatic doors. Still, I should be grateful if I can live without getting involved in unnecessary trouble. Besides, I want to live quietly, without standing out. I've learned that attracting attention only leads to unnecessary trouble. Peace and safety, that's my motto. At one point, a very capable lawyer transferred to our law firm from another office. They had won several difficult cases. "Gaspard, since you don't have anyone you're assigned to, you'll assist Coca," said the chief, patting my shoulder. The envious looks from others were painful. Being the center of attention was nothing but distressing to me, and it only brought a sense of gloom. "I'm Coca, pleased to meet you," she said, introducing herself. She was a brisk and lively woman, well suited to her short haircut. Her black pantsuit highlighted her tall stature, making her look more cool than most men. "You're Gaspard, right? Nice to meet you." The hand she extended for a handshake was much smaller than mine, making me acutely aware that she was indeed a woman. Coca was as competent as her reputation suggested. She juggled multiple cases at once, working like a demon. Her mind worked incredibly fast, and she plowed through work at an astonishing pace. She quickly became well regarded within the office. In less than 3 days, she had matched all the office staff's faces with their names and fit in seamlessly. Working with her was an honor, but I also felt a bit intimidated. She was exceptionally skilled and fast. As a result, my work had to be done quickly too. Working in her shadow, like a stagehand, was quite a challenging task. "Gaspard, could you get the documents for yesterday's case ready? They're already prepared here, and I've indexed and organized the past similar cases by importance and necessity over here." Well, had I asked you to do all that? Huh. It's the first time someone has understood exactly what I wanted without being told. This makes things easier. No, sorry for taking the initiative. Why are you apologizing? I'm praising you. She said this with a bright smile. "We're going to push hard from now on. Gaspard, could you prepare the documents for this case next? And we have a meeting with a client at 4 p.m., so sit in and take notes, and then..." "Wait, please wait a moment. Cases won't wait for us. Let's get to work." Coca grinned and piled several files in front of me. The stack was so large it seemed like it might topple over at any moment. And there was an even taller tower of files on Coco's desk, which she was going through at incredible speed. The intensity of her work ethic was almost terrifying, and I thought to myself that the demons of work really do exist. Gaspard, we're going on a business trip. Coca, who was supposed to have been called by the chief, burst through the office door to announce this. Caught off guard, I stood there dumbfounded as she efficiently packed her belongings. Right now? Yes, the chief asked me to. We're going to Chicago for an overnight trip. I'm taking over a case from one of the chief's clients. There's also a company anniversary party we've been invited to. So prepare for that. Party. I've never been to anything like that. It's fine. Just think of it as a chance to eat some good food. You need to get used to these kinds of events, right? Honestly, I'm not a fan of such flashy occasions. I always feel out of place. Though I wasn't keen on it, it was part of the job. So I reluctantly agreed. Coca was taking over as the consulting lawyer for a major hotel management company from the chief. The chief is an excellent lawyer but often talks about wanting to retire soon. He has been passing his work on to Coca and the other lawyers. The hotel's president is in its third generation, having recently undergone a change in leadership. It seems our chief and the former hotel president were close, so this transition might have been beneficial for both parties. The meet and greet went smoothly, and then came the evening party at the venue. It was held in a fairly large hotel with a spacious banquet hall, attracting a considerable crowd. It looks like there are a lot of local dignitaries and executives from neighboring businesses, Coca said. Yay, it's pretty crowded. I replied, already feeling overwhelmed by the number of people despite the party just starting. The dressed-up crowd was too dazzling. Especially for someone accustomed to the shadows, like me. Coca fit right in, wearing a black ensemble with bold accessories, looking glamorous. As for me, I chose a decent tie and pocket square, but my suit was not much different from usual. I picked something safe to avoid standing out, but I was sweating bullets over the possibility of sticking out like a sore thumb. Ms. Coca, thank you very much for today. The hotel president approached us to say. It's my honor to be invited, Coca responded. There's food prepared over there, so please enjoy yourself. He said before moving on to greet other guests. I heard that making rounds and greeting people is important in social circles. A world pretty much alien to me. As I was thinking this, several men approached Coca. Are you the lawyer, Ms. Coca? We've heard a lot about you. An elder gentleman greeted her with a smile. Coca responded with a smile, though it was clear she didn't recognize him. I whispered to her. That's Mr. Oliver, the executive vice president of the Mitori Group. The chief consults for their company. Coca nodded slightly and began conversing with Oliver. We've heard great things about the Mitori Group's new venture, she said. So, you're aware. That's delightful to hear. Yes, a long-term project is finally coming to fruition. He replied, pleased to talk about his company. Coca nodded and smiled at his enthusiasm, drawing more people into the conversation and enlivening the atmosphere. Watching her become the center of attention, I was impressed. I slipped away to the restroom, escaping the bustling venue. Stepping out of the hall felt like entering another world. The quietness was a relief from the crowd. The nearby restrooms were full, so I headed to a more secluded one. On my way back, I saw a young girl, probably not yet in elementary school, sitting alone on a bench, crying. I couldn't see her parents anywhere. And no hotel staff were around, so I decided to approach her. What's wrong? I asked, crouching down to get on her level. She looked at me, surprised, then shook her head and cried harder. Her appearance suggested she might be of Western descent, so I tried asking in English. But she still shook her head. Ah, not English. Let's see what else I can try. I went through the languages I knew. French, Spanish, Italian, and finally German. She reacted a bit to German, so I spoke slowly. Have you lost your parents? She nodded in response. I remembered there were guests from Germany attending the party. Friends of the hotel president from his study abroad days. If we could get back to the venue, the staff could help find her parents. I'm attending the party too. Would you like to come back to the venue with me? She nodded, took my hand, and we headed back together. Nicole, oh, thank goodness. Her parents exclaimed as they rushed over and embraced her upon our return. I discreetly left the emotional reunion. Only for Coco to catch up and flash me a grin. Not bad at all. It was just by chance, I demurred. Really, is that so? She mused, looking like she wanted to say more, but I pretended not to notice and fell back into my usual role behind her. I haven't had enough to drink. After the party was over, Copa said she wanted to keep drinking, so we decided to hit a tavern. Indeed, with all the greetings, I hardly felt like I ate or drank anything. We entered a popular tavern near the station, downed some beers, and finally felt relaxed. With beer, edamame, rolled omelette, dried hawkfish, and fried meat. We ordered to our heart's content until we were comfortably full. A bit flushed, Copa leaned in and asked, Gaspard, can you speak German? Ha-ho, a little, yeah. That's amazing. Don't you help with international cases? I don't have that kind of ability. That's not true. Working together, I've seen you have a good memory and judgment. Your knowledge of the law is solid. And your office skills are quick and accurate. Plus, you're fluent in foreign languages. I can't understand why someone with your talents has been treated this way. She seemed a bit excited, her voice getting louder. We were starting to attract attention. Which I didn't want. Just as I thought this, she pressed on. Why do you hide your talent like that? Her direct gaze captured mine. You're really talented, aren't you? Why pretend to be just an average person? It's such a waste to have talent and not use it. She must have meant well. But her words triggered my trauma. Blood rushed to my head, and I stood up furiously. What do you mean a waste? Are you also trying to use me? I've had enough of that. I realized I was attracting attention, but it was too late. She averted her gaze and murmured, sorry, with just that one word. After that, Coca and I left the tavern without talking much. The next day, we were on the bullet train back to the office early in the morning. We barely spoke, making it incredibly awkward. As I thought about this, Coca suddenly apologized. Gaspard, I'm sorry for being insensitive yesterday. Everyone has their circumstances. In reflection, I pushed my views on you. I feel bad about it. No, I'm sorry for getting angry. Actually, I've had some past issues. Really? Coco looked at me intently, tilting her head. Her gaze was strong. If I could be as strong as her, maybe I wouldn't have to go through that again. Being strong might be the key to overcoming it. Thinking this, I felt sharing my past might not be so bad. I was what you'd call a gifted child. Once I learned something, I never forgot it. To add, once I saw something, I never forgot it. That was my ability. I loved learning from a young age, and before starting elementary school. I had devoured numerous encyclopedias, earning the nickname know-it-all professor from those around me. It was fine when I was young, but as I got older, the differences between my friends and me became more apparent. School was too easy and boring. Being explained things I already knew over and over was painful, and I spent class time reading books. That led to being scolded by teachers repeatedly, and I grew to dislike school. My parents accepted my reluctance to go to school and watched over me, allowing me to lead a normal life as I am now. Otherwise, I might still be a shut-in. The turning point came when I was applying for university. Not finding domestic universities appealing, I decided to study abroad. I love studying. That's why I wanted to dive into a world completely unknown to me. I went on to Harvard University. The university, filled with students from all over the world, had many even more unique than myself, allowing me to be myself without concern. I made friends from various countries and got along well with other Japanese students who had come to study abroad. For the first time in my life, I found student life enjoyable. However, as graduation approached, my feelings were betrayed. A friend I had trusted plagiarized my paper. No matter how hard I tried, I could never prove the paper was mine, and everyone sided with my friend. He was central to our social circle, trusted by classmates and faculty alike, and no one doubted him. I was labeled a liar, and friends I thought I had all drifted away. Broken, I managed to graduate but failed both the Japanese and American bar exams, eventually finding employment as a clerk at this law firm. It seems I can't form relationships well, always failing because I'm a little better at remembering. Or, having better grades makes people drift away. I don't understand others' feelings well. Coco listened intently to my story. Nodding repeatedly, she closed her eyes as if thinking, then spoke decisively. Still, you've always helped me, Gaspard, and wasn't that little girl yesterday found because of you? Your abilities saved her, right? Isn't that proof that you have wonderful abilities and can use them appropriately? At least, I value you. I wish you'd have more confidence. Coco's words were kind and strong. But even as she said them, all I could do was nod. Sometime after our trip to Nagoya, Coco was faced with a challenging case. It was a defense against a false harassment claim, a case everyone thought was unwinnable. There's no need to take it on unnecessarily, the chief told her, but she shook her head. Working here, it's easy to forget, but consulting a lawyer seems like a high hurdle for ordinary people. I can't disregard someone who's mustered the courage to seek help. It's not about winning or losing. His life is at stake. I'll give it my all. At Coco's words, the chief gave a wry smile but nodded. She is a woman of strong justice and kindness, always considering the client's perspective and empathizing with them. The chief must have anticipated she would take on the work, and didn't push any further, entrusting the case to her. The client's name was James, a man in his 30s. He had recently been promoted to a managerial position, and had a subordinate claim he had harassed her. She claims she was coerced into a relationship in an empty meeting room. When she refused, she was assigned excessive work and verbally abused when she couldn't complete it, Koki explained. There's no recording of the verbal abuse, and the work assignments seem appropriate. The problem is the coercion part. There's no proof it happened, but no proof it didn't either. The other party has been diagnosed with stress-related adjustment disorder and is currently on leave. If a causal relationship with work is recognized, it complicates things. Yeah, James seems to have a good disposition and doesn't make many enemies. He recently had a child, and there seem to be no issues in his personal life. Many at the company seem to defend him. I wonder why he would take such a bold step to go to court in this situation. Could there be some crucial evidence? Or maybe someone is pulling strings behind the scenes. Coco showed a thoughtful expression for a moment before suddenly standing up. Gaspard, we're going on an investigation. Wait, Coca, you're going to conduct the investigation yourself? Of course, let's go, Gaspard. Normally, liars don't conduct investigations themselves. There are investigators in the firm for that purpose, or they outsource it, but she insisted on investigating with her own efforts. Chasing after her brisk walk, we arrived in front of the large company building where the client works. It's a big company building. Yes, their performance has been on the rise lately, and it seems they have a lot of people coming and going. Let's go inside. What? We're going inside? Of course. After presenting our business cards at the reception and revealing our identities, they quickly passed the message to James, who came down in a hurry. Coca, what's going on? I just want to check a few things. Is that all right? Yes. Without waiting for an answer, she started walking briskly. After asking about the office layout and work content, she headed to the meeting room where the alleged coercion took place. The room on the second floor is usually locked and only unlocked when in use. There are 2 long tables with 6 chairs, a whiteboard, and a bookshelf filled with files against one wall. A simple room. As the evening approached, the setting sun shone through the windows. Trying to lower the blinds, I found they were stuck and couldn't be moved. Maybe it's broken. Well, it seems like it's not used often, so repair might not be a priority. Coca then seemed to shift her interest elsewhere. We didn't find much new information. Yes, James just seems like a normal, kind supervisor. Doesn't seem like someone who would harbor grudges. We need to look deeper. Coca mumbled to herself, pondering, as I looked away and locked eyes with a tall man in a suit. Looking away from her, my gaze met that of a tall man in a suit. On his chest was a lawyer's badge, and everything he wore screamed high quality. Is that you, Gaspard? He seemed surprised as he said that. He was someone I never wanted to see again. Avoiding his gaze and looking down confirmed to him that it was indeed me, as he smirked and scrutinized me from head to toe. Huh, you haven't changed at all. So, you failed the bar exam, right? Being a genius means nothing if you hit rock bottom. Guess being a lawyer was too much for you after all. Having knowledge, but lacking in humanity just shows you're not cut out to be a person. His words, clearly mocking me, made me shrink even more, unable to raise my face. Standing protectively in front of me was Coca. Excuse me, isn't it rude to say such things? There's a line between what you can and cannot say. Even to someone you know, right? He's my subordinate. If you insult him, I won't let it slide. Surprised by Coco's sudden appearance, the man quickly changed his expression, but continued to smirk, looking down on me again. Wow, still trying to hang in the legal world, huh? More persistent than I thought. Ignoring me, he turned back to Coca. You must be Coca the lawyer, right? I'm also a lawyer, Adam. I believe we'll be opposing each other in court soon, so let's both do our best. What do you mean? I'm representing the plaintiff in this harassment lawsuit. After saying that, he bowed and left. What an unpleasant guy, Adam, was it? Do you know him? Yes, I've told you before, right, about my university. He's the one who betrayed me. I can never forget. He plagiarized my thesis and stole everything from me. Despite showing him my thesis in trust, he mocked me, saying I was foolish for being so naive. I've heard rumors about a liar who'd do anything for money, someone who'd stoop to any low to win. I think his name was Adam. It sounds like something he would do. Gaspard, let's reveal the truth. There seems to be something more to this case. Coco's eyes were firm, looking straight ahead. James's wife's family. Yes, her father owns a company. They are quite wealthy, I've heard. How is she doing now? She's been shocked by the incident and is staying with her parents. James mentioned that her father is very angry about the case and is pushing for a divorce. I see. Harassment is indeed unacceptable. If my daughter's spouse did such a thing, I'd feel betrayed too. As we continued our investigation, it became clear that James's wife's family was wealthy. Though initially thought unrelated to the case, further discussion revealed some inconsistencies. The plaintiff claimed that despite James not discussing it at work, they knew about his wife's wealthy family. They found it odd when such topics came up at social gatherings, Coco explained. Thinking they could get a hefty settlement because of the wealthy background, maybe. It's possible. Also, it turns out Adam and the plaintiff knew each other beforehand. There have been sightings of them together. It's becoming clearer. Feels like Adam instigated the plaintiff. Now, we just need to prove innocence. Coco sighed while looking through the investigation reports. The meeting room where the plaintiff claimed to have been coerced had a key request filed under James's name at that time, which adds up. James said he was organizing documents alone in the room, a solitary task in a private setting, making it hard to prove. Witnesses confirmed the plaintiff wasn't at their desk at that time, making innocence difficult to prove. Suddenly, an image popped into my head, the view of the meeting room we visited. Shelves filled with files, a large window letting in the evening sun, and the blinds that wouldn't come down. Outside the window was a coin parking lot, with several luxury cars parked. And at the edge of the property was the security camera. Huh? Coco responded to my murmur. From the meeting room, you could see the coin parking lot next door. I thought it was unusual to see so many luxury cars. Then I noticed a security camera at the corner, thinking it was well secured. Maybe that camera still has data. That's a possibility. Good memory. Let's go check it out. Coco pulled me along as she ran. We contacted the parking lot manager to review the camera footage. There, James was seen working alone by the window for an extended period. We've got proof of innocence, Coco said, patting my back. It was the first time I felt my memory had truly helped someone. On the day of the trial, I waited in the office for Coco's return. As a clerk, I couldn't attend the court, even as her direct subordinate. Though we had prepared thoroughly, the outcome was still worrisome until she returned. I'm back, she said cheerfully, turning towards her voice revealed Coco had returned. Her expression seemed bright, but what was the result? As our eyes met, Coco beamed a wide smile and gave a triumphant gesture. Feeling relieved, I bowed my head. It's really all thanks to Gaspard. He researched and prepared the documents, allowing us to win. He's truly excellent. At the celebration later that day, Coco happily repeated her praises. The others just smiled wryly and nodded in agreement. Gaspard, you don't stand out much, do you? Your voice is quiet, and you always seem to be working alone in silence. Saying this, Luna, a young lawyer who greatly admired Coco, was pouring more beer into Coco's glass, having secured the seat next to her for the day. But you know, Gaspard always ends up doing things that others don't notice. That's why when he became exclusively assigned to Coco, we started running out of copy paper, office supplies seemed to disappear, and we were short on coffee for clients. You don't realize how much you rely on someone until they're gone. Sipping sake from her glass, Louis, the youngest in the office, and surprisingly a heavy drinker, added her thoughts. No, he hasn't gone anywhere. It's just that Gaspard doesn't seem the type to talk much, so it was hard to invite him out. But I'm glad we could drink together. Do you like wine, or would you prefer shot shoe? Noah, an office clerk, was encouraging, offering more drinks. Even though we had been working together all this time, it suddenly felt like we had gotten much closer, which was a strange feeling. But not a bad one, rather, I was quite happy about it. The after party is at karaoke. Cheerfully declaring this, Luna led the way, with a few following behind, and I watched from the rear. That's when the chief approached me. Gaspard, you've worked hard. I heard from Coco that you played a significant role. The chief's voice was ever so gentle, drawn to such a just and compassionate hero to their clients. Many staff members admired working in this office. Coca works hard, doesn't she? You must have been influenced by her. Yes, Coca is amazing. She never gives up on finding the truth and always stands by the client. I've been truly inspired by her. That's good to hear. I'm glad I assigned you to Coca. You're a fantastic person. But you seem to have low self-esteem, which worried me. The chief knew about my failures. He had seen my resume during the hiring process and knew my history. I had confessed everything during my interview, admitting I felt incapable of doing anything. Yet, he chose to hire me, which made me wonder what he had been thinking. The chief's generosity might be as vast as the ocean. Chief, I have something to ask. What is it? I want to take the bar exam again. I want to be an ally to those in need. Just like Coca, I will become a lawyer like her. That's the spirit. I'm rooting for you. Yes. For the first time, I felt the wounds from university start to heal. I was aware I was different from others. I had struggled with that, but now I can accept it as part of who I am. Since I have this ability, I thought it best not to hide it but use it openly. Years later, I'm still working at the same firm. The only difference is that I now wear a lawyer's badge on my collar. Though I'm still far from being like Coco or the chief, I try not to lose to them in my dedication to our clients. Despite nearly giving up on life after a setback, I managed to get back on my feet. My experiences will surely aid me in my future work. I believe there are no wasted experiences in life.